It's that time of year again. It's Halloween Horror Nights time. My name is Felipe. And I'm joined by
Tara.
And we went to this year's 2024's Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios Orlando, Florida. And just like we do every year, we are here to review our experience so you can know what to expect if you were to go yourself. We're going to talk about a couple different things: the houses, the scare zones, the food, maybe the merchandise. And this year we decided to go in the middle of the week versus the weekend with no fast passes.
Yup.
So we have some things to discuss there. So, Tara, my wife, where do you wish to begin?
Wednesday versus any other day?
Okay, sure. Go for it. You said you had some notes. I really didn't have much to discuss on that, but it sounded like you did. So take it away.
It was just like a couple things that I noticed, because whenever we go, I think the earliest we would go in the week is like a Thursday? Maybe we've gone.
Yeah, we did that like once.
And then we've done like Sundays, and I think Sundays were like the best days
for weekend purposes.
For weekends. Yeah.
Even then, though, it's kind of rough.
Yeah.
For those that are unaware, Horror Nights can get really busy. Really, really busy. I'm talking wait times over an hour, sometimes over 2 hours, just for one haunted house.
Yeah, like you would see 75 minutes or 90 minutes. Like a lot.
Yeah, and if you ain't balling, if you don't got the money like that, then you're gonna have to wait through all these lines. And if you have the money, you can get those fast passes, which help tremendously. And we did do that 1 year, and boy was it nice, but hella expensive. But this year, we being responsible adults,
or just common folk.
Yeah, just common folk. But we decided to, we realized that they were open on Wednesdays this year. I didn't really notice it before, where Wednesdays were an option. So we're like, you know what? Let's try that out. In the middle of the week, avoiding the weekend crowds. Maybe that will help.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that's just a quick aside. Go, continue.
Yes. So I feel like going on a Wednesday, middle of the week, it's not October yet, it was a good time to go. But I noticed that there weren't a lot of like sloppy drunkards this time.
Yep.
And I think that's because it's the middle of the week. So people want to go and get their scares, but they're not going to get too crazy because maybe they have to work and they don't want to be sick the next day. So that was kind of like refreshing to see. Like, I did try some of the drinks this year, but like I didn't get crazy either. But I just noticed, like, when we were standing in line, it wasn't, people still had drinks, but it wasn't like, they didn't seem like sloppy alcoholics like we see during the weekend.
Yeah.
Like, people were actually like enjoying their time, and it was chill. Nobody looked like they might fall over and had those like glazed eyes, like they're zoning out because they're like so drunk right now.
Yeah.
But
it was a different demographic for sure. I want to say a lot more older people. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was just different.
Yeah.
But it was different. It was nice.
Yeah.
And some other things I noticed. I don't know if it was just like, I don't know. But I noticed
wow.
like a lot of the music in between, like there wasn't a lot of it. So whenever like we were walking and stuff, like coming up on scare zones, there's only like really like one that I could think of that I remember like hearing some sounds and songs and stuff, and that was by like the tribute store area.
Yeah, the carnival one or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit better, descriptions in a bit, but
yeah.
That, and then the Blumhouse had like
like
something.
Some.
Yeah.
But I just feel like there wasn't really a overall song this year that like stuck out and that you heard throughout the park as you're walking around. And I don't know if that's because it was a Wednesday, so they're still gearing up for the week, or
I wouldn't imagine that's the case. Yeah.
But
yeah, overall
I don't know.
I guess to just briefly touch on that, the theme this year, there didn't seem to be one. Typically, there's some kind of theme that goes with Horror Nights. They try to base the whole event around one specific theme, but there really wasn't a chosen one this year. It was just like a mismatch. Like, oh, here's some Insidious, here's some Quiet Place, here's Ghostbusters, but like they didn't really choose one as the star, which could be good, but sometimes it is good to have a framing of what the Horror Nights is going to be. There was a couple times when Walking Dead was one of them, and you heard that song all throughout the park because that was the theme. And then they had stuff that accompanied it, but this year it was just kind of like, no, this is just what we have. So it was a weird year in that aspect. And like you said, there really wasn't that much music going on throughout the park, and usually that kind of sets the tone.
Yeah,
so that was a little odd. But I will say I don't think that's a Wednesday thing. I think that's just this year's Horror Nights.
Yeah, because like even like the year that they had like all the 80s based movie houses and stuff, like they had kind of like that Stranger Things 80s song.
Oh yeah, and like the synth and those weird instruments or whatever.
But so that kind of stunk that there wasn't something. Like I didn't feel hyped up the whole time walking around like I feel like you do usually.
Yeah.
And then to go along with like lack of sounds, it just seemed overall like quieter than usual. And I noticed there wasn't really like behind the scene videos playing either. Like near the Rip Ride Rocket, usually they have like behind the scenes of like movie stuff or getting the houses ready, or just like a look into stuff. Those. But this year it was just
trailers
for like Megan.
Yeah, a lot of Megan, Freaky, Death Day, pretty much all the Blumhouse stuff. And then a couple other new things like Nosferatu we saw here and there.
Yeah, and the
trailers for the event itself.
Say no evil or speak no evil or something like that. But that was it. Like that's the same like one thing that you saw over and over again. And I think like near the slaughterhouse they had like their little slaughterhouse like trailer or
cinema?
Something.
Oh, well, yeah.
The cinema one. But like other than that, like I don't know. I just didn't get that behind the scenes thing, and I always kind of looked like that.
Okay.
And another thing that I didn't see this year that I always like to see is like the character changes. Like I know it kind of like.
Oh, I don't like seeing that.
No, listen. Like.
No, I'm just saying something. My own piece. Jeez, go ahead.
Anyways, as I was saying, is like. In a way I put here, like I was like, it's good so that the magic isn't ruined for people like you that don't like to see that. But like people like me, it's just, I just love to see behind the scenes stuff. So like when they do those character changes or something, like it's neat because the crowd will like usually clap for them or something. And like, it's just kind of cool. I don't know. Yeah.
So character changes is just like all the actors inside the haunted houses, they have shifts. So every now and then, like if you're waiting in those long lines, you might catch the characters being swapped out at the end of the shift. So you see a new crowd of people to get ready, and they're all coming in. Usually they're trying to hide what they're looking like, but some of the outfits are kind of outrageous, so you still get to see them. And to me, it kind of ruins the magic a little bit because it's like, you're not supposed to see it in broad daylight or under lights. You're supposed to see it, in the moody atmosphere of a house. So I don't personally like seeing this character changes myself, but I do understand what Tara is saying with the behind the scenes stuff. I would like to see that maybe after the house to see what they look like, whatever, but not right before it, But yeah, you just see them come in, and yeah, like Tara said, and the people are like clapping for them because they're doing a good job most of the time.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think, like, in my head, I like to think about it like, oh, I see them, and then it kind of, like, puts me back in they're just people under there.
Yeah.
And so in my head, psychologically, I'm thinking, okay, it normalizes it back to me, so it's not real because I'm such a scaredy cat. But then I go in the house and they still scare me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't ruin the magic for me, because I'm still scared.
Okay.
But those are just things that I just noticed this year that weren't
different from other years.
Yeah.
And the main difference this year is the Wednesday. Us going in the middle of the week, which again I think is new, or we just, I don't know, we never did it before, so that was our first time doing that.
This is also our second time going around
Hurricane. Yeah.
A couple years ago, like, we didn't know if it was going to be canceled, and we actually drove up there
without knowing, like, it was still up in the air, like, hey, stay tuned if we're gonna be opening for tonight or not. And we're like, well, it's a 2-hour drive, might as well try to see if we can be lucky. And then like 30 minutes before we got there, okay, we're open. Like, oh, thank God.
I mean, this year they said a lot sooner, like around the time we were ready to go leave, they said that they made a choice that they were going to be open. So that was good. But, the next night they closed.
Yeah.
And then they have to reschedule. So those crowded weekends, this weekend's not going to be so great if, because they have to.
Bullet.
Yeah, they have to use their ticket and reschedule like before Sunday, and
there was also
that's a little
yeah
time frame to use that ticket again. And like we said, like, weekends are already busy, and then you're gonna allow a whole nother day's worth of people to come in. But
yeah,
we made it, so it doesn't affect us.
There was also a lot of video because it's hurricane season here in Florida. There's a lot of videos of just how rainy it's been for Horror Nights, which it sucks because you want to enjoy it and not have the weather ruin it. And we brought our rain jackets just in case, and we got lucky. Like, it was a little bit of rain right when we were getting there, but before the park even opened, because we got there kind of early. And that was really it. There was like a mild mist of rain for like maybe 2 minutes in the middle of the night, but the rest of the night completely dry. Just puddles here and there from previous days. So we got real lucky. It was really nice weather, and yeah, I don't know. It was a good time.
There was another year I remember having my rain jacket because it was a rainy year then. But I mean, like, knock on wood, thankfully, like, we've never experienced like a downpour on us in the middle of the parks. So that's nice. Because my coworkers who went like a week before us was saying, yeah, bring your ponchos because we got poured on and it was terrible.
That sucks.
We got lucky.
Yeah. All right, then. So moving on to what do you want to discuss? The food?
Sure.
So usually Horror Nights gets kind of creative with their food. Depending on the houses that are chosen, they get to have some neat food or themed food items specific to those houses to match the theme. So like, for example, like this year, they had Ghostbusters. So they had a few foods around Ghostbusters. I can't really think of many, but there's like the main one. It was the Stay Puft Marshmallow, on a s'more, made as a s'more. Mm-hmm. And it was the shape of it, and it looked, cute and stuff, like the little ones from the movie. So that was cool. Insidious had like some, I don't even know, some kind of empanada or something, but it looked like the Red Door, stuff like that. So I will say, though, for me, this year, none of the food theme-wise, well, no, the theme was good, but like none of the food like stood out to me as something I'd actually want to eat. So I just really wasn't enticed to get any of that food. Like, we tried a couple snacks and things, but we just had pizza. Like, it wasn't a theme.
From Louis, like one of the like,
just one of the things that's always there. Yeah, like last year they were on one with all the food. Like the Stranger Things burger, like that thing was unique. They had the Last of Us stuff. Like, I don't know, last year and was just amazing with all the options they had for food. Like, there was just too many. Like, I couldn't try them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then this year, I really was only enticed to like try one unique thing, which I'll get to in a moment, and the thing that they have every year, which is the twisted taters. But that's my thoughts. What did you think of the food this year, or food options?
The food options, I agree. Like, there was no meal that I was like big meal, thing that I wanted to try that I was like, ooh, like, let me get that. But snack wise, there was stuff that I was interested in trying. You want me to just like...
Yeah, and you also got your drinks this year that were just horror night themed.
Yeah. So I did try something new at Louis though, for me.
Oh yeah.
Louis is a restaurant, like Italian restaurant, and they have like pizza, salad wedge salads, whatever. It's their dining that they have there.
Pizza and pasta and salad. That's pretty much it.
But
very basic.
Normally I get the cheese pizza, and I got crazy, and I got the barbecue chicken pizza.
Whoa.
So it was crazy. Like $4 more.
Really?
I don't know. It was like 13 something instead of like 10 something.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
But I got it mainly because it was like the thickest pizza that I saw there. Because I'm like, when you're spending that much money, like, I try to get the bang for the buck. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't feeling pepperoni. So anyway, I got the barbecue chicken. It was really good. Okay. I would get that again.
All right.
And yeah, it just tastes.
Let's talk about the Horror Nights food, though.
Okay, that's what I was just starting off with. Okay, so anyways, the Twisted Tater is really good, but just disappointing because the one year they like got fancy with their flavors and they tried new things, and then they never did it again. So now they're just back to the same 3 flavors, which they're fine.
No, it's even less because it used to have like 4 or 5 flavors.
Okay, so
and now it's just salt, sour cream and chives, and garlic parmesan. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the heck? So I just got my sour cream and chives. And to be fair, it hit.
Yeah, it was well
really
seasoned.
It was like the flavor was distributed really nice on that thing, and it was delicious.
Yeah, they did really good with the seasoning. Like, it's that spiral potato thing, and like sometimes they just powder on the seasoning edges. And it's like on the edges, or it's like you got a dry spot of just like straight potato. But this one was actually done really good.
Yeah,
it's one that's like, it's good, it's been hit or miss, but it's $10, and it's like, as much as I love it, it's like to spend $20 on 2 potato spirals is just crazy.
Pretty much all the food is overpriced.
It is, but I feel like for some snacks this year, we found stuff that was less than $10, and that was nice. Giving your card away for less than $10 is nice.
Yeah,
for snacks. So, anyways, other snacks that I tried, I put the Ghostbusters macaroon.
Yeah.
I always gotta try one if I see a macaroon. Like, they're my favorite type of cookie. And so if I see one and obviously it's themed, I'm gonna get it. And this one had the Ghostbuster logo, and the flavor that I got was the s'mores flavor.
Yeah.
And it was fine.
Yeah. It was just a macaroon, a s'mores flavored macaroon. Nothing special.
Yeah.
It was just cool. They had the little logo on it.
Yeah.
We're when in Rome.
Yeah, like when being able to eat a macaroon, that always makes me happy. And because it was Ghostbusters themed, that was cute. Yeah. But as far as like flavor, taste, all that, it was an average one. It was fine. Tastes like a s'mores one. Mm-hmm. And then I got the chocolate tres leches cake, and my comment was, "It needs some milk."
It needs some milk. Yeah, Tara's favorite cake is tres leches, like the original. So when we were looking at the food that they had this year, chocolate tres leches like blew her mind. She's like, "What?" And then we get it, and it was small. Thankfully, that's kind of what she wanted, because we were kind of full at that time. We're like, I hope it's small little cake. And for the price, we're like, it's gotta be, and it was.
Yeah, it was like $6.
I don't like tres leches. Like tres leches cake is too wet for me.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah. But this one was not. Like there was like it was like on a small plate of like a thin layer of milk at the bottom, but it really did not soak up the thing. So I'd say that's probably a miss
Yeah.
for what that is. Like
Like,
it tasted fine. Like I prefer it over normal tres leches because I don't like
it was more
wet.
cake than leche, and it was like literally like those small little dessert plates with like a tablespoon of milk at the bottom and like a freshly cooled cake.
Like Hostess cake.
Yeah, like a Hostess cake type of chocolate, like just put on top of the milk. So there was no soaking involved unless you sat there for like 10 minutes and let it soak in itself. But when they gave it to you, it was like, oh, quick, put a dash of milk and throw a cake on top. So I was like,
it was one leche, not trays.
Yeah. So
now,
that was disappointing. I wanted better, but
now on the opposite end of that, I had something that I wasn't expecting much from. They were called Lava Rocks from Hell.
I put dead balls. I couldn't remember what they were called.
These look like straight up dookie balls, like when they handed them to me. But I read the description and it was like, oh, okay, it's a jalapeno popper. It's just cheese with jalapeno inside. Yo, this was really good. Like, this is the best jalapeno popper I think I've ever had. Like, they look gross, but like, I don't know, like whatever cheese they use, the peppers in, like it was the perfect temperature. None of the trees like dried up or like got stuck to, it was perfect. Like it could not have been a more perfect thing. Like
it was like creamy, cheesy stuff inside.
Yeah. And the thing that really, the one thing I didn't like about them is that they ended. You never heard that joke? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now it was those were really good. Like that should, if those ever come back, I'm just gunning towards it.
Yeah, like I would even get them. Like I would, like you said, like I was full and like I didn't know if I really wanted the flavor of a jalapeno pepper at the time.
Yeah, you said, can I get a bite? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then you like bit it, and I saw your face. I'm like, you want another bite, don't you? You're like,
I wanted to finish the whole ball, but I felt bad because there's only 6 of them.
Whatever.
And then it's not. Well, now that I know that I could have had it, I want it back. But yeah, that was good, and that was nicely priced too. I mean,
yeah, that was only like what, $7 or something.
Yeah,
like that? I mean,
and it's like $1 a piece, a little over $1, but for what it was, I would do it again. Yeah, I would get 2 of those. I wouldn't get 2 twisted taters, but I get 2 servings of those.
Yeah.
So that was good.
And then we had our butterbeer, which is just always incredible. What did you have anything? I mean, you had.
Yeah, I had 2 drinks.
Oh yeah.
I tried 2 drinks and I really liked them. Like years past, I've gotten the drinks and I even got like the souvenir cup because, it lights up and that's always fun and it looks cool when your drink's lit up and stuff. But I don't need more cups.
Yeah, we have a lot of cups.
We do have a lot of cups. So I opted to just get the regular single cup or whatever. Or, whatever. The regular cup throwaway.
Solo cup.
Yeah. But normally like when I go for the drinks, it's like I just want to get a drinky drink. But these ones this year actually tasted good. And they were like Fanta based. And that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was a partnership they had this year.
Yeah. And
I noticed.
Yeah. And so they had like a whole bunch of different drinks that you could get that were like Fanta based and like the orange Fanta. And they even had mocktail versions of it. And that was cool because you could have got one if you were in the mood for one.
Yeah, I wanted to get one of the mocktails for me, but once you got your like the normal alcohol version, the lady told you that there was no more pineapple left.
Yeah, no.
And the mock, like it came with like, it was supposed to have like crushed pineapple and then like, garnish on the side with more pineapple. I love me some pineapple.
Yeah.
They didn't have any, so I'm like, well, what? Well,
yeah.
Just
so
drink my water.
But the drink that I got, like, it wasn't like, oh, this is an alcoholic drink. It was like, no, this is like a good drink with a splash of alcohol in it. Yeah. So it had a little fun, but I got the Dead Meridian.
Okay.
And it was, I think, orange Fanta with some pineapple in it. And like you said, it was supposed to have like more pineapple, like actual pineapple in it. But whatever, it's a mix I would do again. I'd even do like a mocktail version of it myself.
Yeah.
Because it was really good. I liked it. And then the other drink that I got was Shirley Black.
Okay.
And I don't remember what was in it, but it had bobas. And
Nice.
that's why I bought it. Because I was like, wait a minute. Boba is in a drink? Let me get it. And I got it, and it was fun, and it was good too.
Nice.
So the 2 drinks that I got were genuinely good.
Cool.
So
Yeah, besides that, the rest of the food, I don't know. I didn't hear the best. There was like Ghostbusters corn dogs, and I'm like, nah, that doesn't look good.
yeah.
There's like one thing that sounded good. It was like some hot dog, but then they used baked beans with cheese. I don't know. So to me, food was a little lackluster this year, but there were some standouts, and it sounds like they got their drink game up. Whatever partnership they came up with Fanta, I noticed a lot of different options this year. And it was cool that a lot of them came with mocktail options for like me, someone who doesn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, then we can quickly discuss the merch, because we really didn't do too much with merch. But we did notice that this year they kind of tried to expand on that a little bit, because usually it's a black shirt and they have a montage of the houses. Like the creatures from the houses are usually on the shirts, and that's it. But this year, they had that, but then they had like this, I don't know, like a punk 80s or 90s neon looking theme
Skeleton
to the actual shirts. So I would have loved if they committed to that theme around the park, and that would have matched the shirts, because it did seem a little odd, but I will say it was eye-popping, and that is the first time like I was like, oh, this feels new, feels fresh.
Yeah.
And some of the shirts even like kind of glowed in the the purple light or whatever they call it.
What is that called? Neon lights?
I guess so.
UV purple.
Yeah.
Why are we having a black light?
Black light, I guess. But they like it was really cool. So it was a nice thing. And then
yeah, like they had an orange shirt too, and that was, like you said, that was refreshing to see something different.
Yeah.
And I liked that there was an orange version of the shirts.
Looks like they were really trying harder with the merch this year, and I think they did a good job with the selections. But like I said, this year, like the houses, which we're gonna get into, of course, but like the house choices that they had this year, really the only one I was really genuinely excited about is Quiet Place. Mm-hmm. After that, I could take it or leave it. But so none of the shirts really stood out for me. Like, oh, I mean, the Quiet Place creatures are cool, but I don't really care too much about the other stuff. So none of the shirts were jumping out at me. But Horror Nights has really been teaming up with Blumhouse a lot for the past few years with a lot of their houses. And this year they didn't have a house, but they had a scare zone. But they had a really nice shirt that had the Blumhouse logo, and then like a few of their newer characters, Happy Death Day, Megan,
Black Phone.
Yeah, Black Phone, etc. And there's something going on with Blumhouse's website. I'm a huge Blumhouse fan. Back when their website, when they had a gear store, like I bought their shirt, just the logo, white shirt, and I was like, I like this. I really like this company. They've given me some really good movie nights, with friends over watching these horror movies, and I just really like them. But they haven't had a shop in forever, and I want to buy more stuff. So I finally saw something there at Horror Nights. I'm like, oh, I gotta get that. Like it's well done. It's branded with Horror Nights, which I love. We go every year, so I was very happy with that purchase.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. So let's get into the main thing that people are here for. After we discuss the scare zones.
I was going to say, the scare zones.
Yeah, no, we're just going to run through the scare. We don't have too much to say on the scare zones.
I remember them.
Yeah, usually the scare zones are mostly missed for me. Unless there's a property that they're attached to that I can, see the effort they put in. But we'll get into the 5 scare zones here, and just we'll read kind of what they were about. So we had the main one I was excited to see, Enter the Blumhouse. Like I said, huge fan of the company. So escape a terrifying gauntlet of Blumhouse characters, from sinister sadists From The Purge, The Black Phone, to Megan dancing into your nightmares, you've never known horror like this. So pretty much, it was just kind of like almost like a showcase, with the exception of one thing. But it was like a stage. I had Megan up on one of the stages. She was just, being creepy on there. You had the guy from The Black Phone, in his mask, just being creepy. But they were just like
standing there.
They were just like kind of like standing there to mostly pose. It looks like they were really receptive to like selfies and stuff like that. And same deal with, there was like a couple Purge characters walking around. They've done the Purge a lot at Horror Nights, which is like the perfect thing because it just makes sense for the venue. And had a couple little sets. They had like some lockers to do Happy Death Day, and they had the guy in the baby mask running around, and the girl from Happy Death Day
and
there.
And
Freaky, yeah. She passed by for a second too. And anyways, so that one was a little odd the way they did like the stage thing, but I guess it worked because like if you're a big fan of these characters and you really want to take a picture with them, you can find them easily because they're up on the stage, kind of just showcasing them. So there's that, and then we'll get to the other one. So there's like Duality of Fear. This is like the main kind of thing to me. The house, the scare zone, that's always because it's the very first one you go through. It's supposed to be kind of easy to get through because everyone has to pass through it.
Yeah.
This was called Duality of Fear. As soon as you enter the gates of Halloween Horror Nights, you must choose a path. Follow Sinister, the manifestation of visceral horror, or follow Surreal, the incarnation of unearthly terror. No idea what they were talking about. There was two chicks up there. It was cool because they're well designed and everything, and they were like talking on megaphones. I could not hear them. So
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what they were saying. So whatever. To me, it was just like, okay, this Welcome to Horror Nights. Let's go.
Yeah.
So that was fine. The Demon Queens get caught in an otherworldly hellscape ripped from the darkness, from the darkest corners of your mind. 4 merciless queens loyal to surreal rule, surrounded by hordes of fanatical followers. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's that area by Rocky Horror Show and Mel's Diner. I think that's what that one was.
Is that the one that like the girl had like the sparkly?
Yeah, there's one pretty dressed one. There's one with like a whole bunch of eyeballs and like. Yeah. I think that's what that was. It was fine. There's Swamp of the Undead. In the backwaters, Louisiana, you unwittingly wander onto private property where you're swamped by zombies born from the bodies of other trespassers who were killed and dumped in a nearby bog.
It was wet.
It was very wet, and it wasn't just because of the rain. Like, there was shooting water all over that place to make it extra humid, so it worked. You know, it felt like a swamp. They had there was no music, but they had swampy sounds, stuff creaking and bogs. And that's that really tight area that's always like overgrown with like woods. It worked. Yeah. That one's always a good little scare zone. It's quick.
And like
but it's tighter, and there's a lot of fog everywhere. And then the last one, Torture Fair. Come one, come all, to Sinister's Renaissance Fair with the devious theme of medieval torture. Brave the gloriously gory homemade torture devices till you're put out of your misery. This one was neat. It was a Renaissance fair, so you got to hear like the carnival music you were talking about. I don't know. It was fine.
It was cool because like a couple times that I saw, like they had the dummies or whatever, like moving ones.
Yeah.
And like it was neat to see like there was somebody that was like tied upside down trying to like escape, and
you question, is like, that a real person hanging upside down? And then we get there like, oh no, it ain't, but it was legit.
Like, it was cool that it was like something moving, and then I think on like one of the wheels or something that they had, there was like another moving body thing, and it was like, okay, cool. And that one thing was pretty cool that they had like somebody's body like stretched out. Yeah. And like you saw the front,
all the skin peeled back, and
then like on the back side you saw the bones. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, it was fun. That one was a decent one.
But that's pretty much it. I think I got them all.
Yeah, that's it. They're fine.
5. Yeah. So scare zones to me never nothing really to write home about. So
Let's get on to the main event, the haunted houses.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Boo.
10 houses this year. I think that's usually what they have.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you want to just kind of go in the order that we went?
Yeah.
All right. So what was the first house we did? And I'll find it and I'll read the description to kind of set the theme here.
The triplets. Triplets of terror?
Triplets of terror. The party's over, and so are you. You're invited to the Barmy triplets' birthday celebration, but their kind of party involves recreating the murders of their entire family.
Okay. I get it now.
So one thing to note, I guess, this year, usually you look up all these houses in advance because you're
Oh, yeah.
you're kind of like scared, so you want to spoil it for yourself so you know what to expect and you can temper your expectations. You did not do that this year.
Yeah. I went into everything blindly.
Yeah, you didn't know really what the houses were besides the main one. Like, you didn't know any of the original houses. This is one of the original houses. I never like spoiling any things, but what I do is I look at the original houses and I'm like, okay, let me read so I kind of get an idea. I didn't even do that this year. So
didn't either.
I'll be when we talk about these houses, I'm going to be kind of judging it on how well it got into its theme. And I did not read these before going in. So going in, if I'm not understanding what's happening, they didn't do their job.
Yeah.
Okay. So I did not know what this was about. I'm like, okay, triplets, so a family. That's what I thought, you know?
I was thinking 3 witches.
Oh, okay.
So, no, it's not.
Did you want to get on your thoughts on this one?
Okay. So the way that I wrote my notes was I wrote like the name of the house and I wrote either yes or no for was it scary or not.
Oh, okay.
And so for this one, I put no. I didn't think it was scary.
Okay.
This was the first one we went into. I led it and I was like, okay, I could do this one.
Okay.
Like you said, we didn't do any type of homework on looking at anything, so I didn't know what to expect. Like you said, I was thinking 3 witch sisters, and it was not. It was like hillbilly kids or something. And it wasn't scary, but it was interesting, and I think it was good. Like, it was fine to start off with.
Yeah.
One thing that does get me, though, and it doesn't matter if the house is, like, scary or not to me, but if I see the monster and it sees me see them and acts like it's not going to come out because we got eye contact, but then does come out at me at the last second, it gets me.
Yeah.
So it did get me a couple times just because, like, I wasn't expecting it to do something after I already saw it. So it did make me jump a couple times.
Yeah.
But, like, overall, I didn't think it was scary.
Okay.
And it was fine.
So for this one, I actually liked it more than I thought it would. And like I said, with how well it told its story, I think this is one of the better houses in regards to doing that. Like, I like the setting. You were pretty much just kind of hopping throughout the neighborhood where this family, this siblings kind of wreck loose and killed their family and then are going about and killing other people. Because as you go through the house, you're seeing news reports. You're hearing like a news reporter like, oh, I forgot the name of the Berman twin siblings are still continuing their rampage from when they killed their parents or whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that kind of kept reminding me what the theme was. Okay, they're just kind of killing everyone in the neighborhood, and you're going through it and seeing all that. They had like a little butcher area, and that was fun because, like I said, I like interaction in the houses, and there was like spraying you with like blood or something as you're walking through it. It felt all wet and gross. Yeah, and it was like, ugh, kind of gave you the chills. But I
I actually really liked that house. It was a good way to start out the night for me, and like you said, it actually did get me a few times. I'm very desensitized by now, so usually when it comes to scares, if one gets me, I call it out. I'm like, oh, that was good, because they usually don't. I'm just used to it, but I love going because I just love seeing all the effort they put into these houses, and I know a good scare, even if it doesn't scare me, I know which one's good. But when they do get me, that's extra special, and they did a few times, so I like that one.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. What's the next house we did?
Eternal Bloodlines.
Eternal Bloodlines. That's Universal Monsters. Eternal Bloodlines.
Okay.
All female, all fearless, all fatal. Get caught in an epic battle as Saskia Van Helsing and the Bride of Frankenstein go up against Dracula's daughter and her monstrous mavens. So pretty much Universal's monsters, they always try to incorporate them into Horror Nights. This time they're like, all right, all girls this time. So what did you think of Eternal Bloodlines?
I put yes. That one was scary to me sometimes. I liked that, I guess it was Van Helsing's daughter, somebody's daughter, that like you kept seeing like she was like human looking.
Yeah.
But like she would still freak me out when she like jumped by or whatever.
Oh, it's all about the sounds and the surprise jumps.
That one got me a bunch. I put there were werewolves, I think.
Yeah.
Because I kind of had my eyes like half shut sometimes.
Yeah.
And werewolves always get me. Always. I don't like werewolves. So those always got me. And I put that I was holding on too tight.
Yeah.
Like so tight that my thumbs actually hurt afterwards.
Yeah, that one, my kidneys were destroyed. You were holding on to the side. Because that one I led.
Yeah. All of them you led. After that.
You did triplets.
I did the first one. That was it. And then never again. I got scared. But I liked that there were mummies in this one. There was like the hieroglyphs and the mummy stuff. And I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, for me, this one, my notes say it was nice and long. That's what she said. It was probably the longest house, I think, lengthwise and well, obviously lengthwise. It had just had a lot of really fun sets and use of the monsters. At one point, I did kind of forget that it was an all-female cast, and then I noticed the boobs on the werewolf, and I was like, "Oh, that's right."
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was like, "That's right. They're supposed to all be girls." Because like the mummies, you know, I guess you could tell her here and there, but like, yeah, obviously the Bride of Frankenstein, the obvious woman, but like the werewolf, you don't really.
Yeah.
You always associate men with, but then I did. Yeah.
I feel like I need to go back and like watch walkthroughs and stuff just so I could see it, because I'm like curious to see more detail of that, because
it was just I
didn't want to close my eyes, but I didn't close my eyes through any of. Well, yes, that's not true. I had my eyes half closed, so there were some details that I missed because I was freaking out. But yeah, so I'll go back and I'll watch walkthrough just so I could see that.
All right then.
But it was a good one. I liked it.
Yeah, that was a standout for me. That's one of my top few for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Goblin's Feast.
Goblin's Feast. They'll feast on your flesh. Enter a goblin village where a feast is being prepared for goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches. And you're the main course. Again, did not read the description of this.
Yeah.
I just heard that this is a returning one. And I don't know, like, I think you said, you're like, oh, I can just tell that one's going to be one of the scariest ones.
Yeah.
That's going to be the worst one here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to elaborate on your thoughts?
Yeah, so, like, I don't like those goblin-y looking things with, like, big ears and stuff, and, like, big pointy ears, and they just have, like, the really, like, I'm making a face and you can't see it.
Yeah.
But you see me.
Sure.
And it just, it scares me. I don't like it. And It looked like this one was gonna be like something like from, I don't know, where's Merida from? Ireland or something.
Sure.
It looks kind of like a pub or something, like going into it or whatever. But so I put Goblin's Feast, and then Scary or Not, I put no.
Yeah.
I was like, the ripping sounds that we heard going into it, they like had like these ripping sounds, like they were like pulling people and flesh apart and stuff, like before you get into the house. And like I feel like that was misleading because I thought it was gonna be more of that. And
was there was like that sound of like a woman trying to escape.
Yeah.
And then her being like, "Oh, come back here," or whatever.
Yeah, there was
and it's just like, oh
voice,
snap! Like this sound.
It sounded like it was gonna be scary, but then you get inside and it's like all these like Yoda troll looking things.
Yeah.
And like I was like, what? And then like I saw like a giant hand. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, maybe there'll be more like giants, and there kind of were, but like there not like, that big.
There was like 2 or 3. I was actually impressed.
But they weren't like giants as big as the hands were they? They were just like really.
There was like, okay, there was 2 big hand things to give you the impression, like. So when we say big hands, it's like there's like a giant animatronic of a hand like reaching in trying to like grab you, because the whole thing is like you're attending a feast of theirs, and you know you're the main course. So like it's like a holiday, and it's like, oh, Goblin's Feast time, and then like when you walk in, they're like, oh, you're here just in time, take a left, and you know, thanks for coming, or I don't know.
Yeah,
like to me it was like this was not at all what I expected this to be. It was a lot more silly than I was anticipating. Like you said, it was very misleading, all the sounds. Like it really sounded hardcore in there. And then you get there and it's like you said, like a weird pub vibe. And it's just kind of, I don't know, he's like talking to you and it's just kind of silly. But the animatronics of like the big trolls trying to eat at you as you're walking through, that was kind of neat. There was 2 times where there was big giant hands like the size of me, like reaching in. And then like there was an open area in the house where they had a really tall troll. You saw all of it, but obviously not giant like the hand was. But
like I said, I wanted more giant stuff, if anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like if I walked into a pub like that and I didn't know that it was Goblin Feast Day and you got the guy up front like, hey, welcome, come in, do this, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, nah, I'm out. Like I'm not gonna give myself up.
Yeah.
But there were strobes in there and jumps and stuff that like make me jump. So like I still jumped while I was in there.
But it wasn't scary house.
But it wasn't a scary house. It was more like, this is silly.
Yeah, I appreciated that it was like, oh, it's their holiday tradition, but it was a fine house. I would say it's probably one of my least favorite ones.
Yeah, that one was. Well, no, it wasn't. Never mind. There's one. It was on the bottom. Though.
Yeah. There was one. I think one more that you and I agreed was probably worst, but
yeah,
we'll get to that in a little while. Next, what did we do?
The monsters.
Monstruos.
There you go.
The monsters of Latin America. Tres monstruos. Una pesadilla. Ten cuidado. With La Muerte as your guide, try to survive the night with 3 terrifying legends. Oh gosh.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, hold on.
Oh yeah.
Tlaulepuchi,
Ay, Dios
La
mío.
Luchesa, and El Silbón. See, even my Spanish doesn't go that far. Anyways.
But you sound good.
Thanks. Yeah, so Latin America house, pretty much. So Hispanic monsters. Your thoughts?
I put yes in English.
Yes in English. Okay.
I didn't have a lot of notes for it, so I don't really remember it. But I put yes, that I liked it, and that they had a good use of stilts.
Okay. I put many scares. A lot of scares. A lot of cool uses of like a special effects. Like paintings that would change to reveal stuff behind it. So it looked like a painting and then like it would fade away and there's like stuff behind it.
Oh yeah, like actual something behind it.
Yeah, like it revealed like
A
it was actually a
monster
window. Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually it was like random stuff, but every now and then it would be an actual character there. Giant animatronics. There was a giant like weird face, like an ugly face that like lunged at you. So kind of following up with
Mhm.
like the troll hands. Imagine the face of that creature there. But whatever. One of the things I just read, one of them. There was also like this weird giant chicken monster in there, and it had like its weird goofy wings, but it was like big. So when you walked in, it was like kind of imposing, and it was very creepy. It was silly, but in a kind of like like this is kind of creepy way.
Like, what are you gonna do?
And then like its wings were like his little chicken wings were like spreading out with like feathers. I don't know. It was funny. I really like that house. Just the whole setting. They've done like a Hispanic house before. They did like Llorona. I think they even had a version of La Llorona in this in the beginning. At least I think.
I think so. Is that the one that was like, it's gonna eat your baby?
Yeah,
or
exactly. I'm
something?
like, that's pretty much what she is, but
Yeah.
they didn't. Yeah. Anyways, and I did see some reused sets,
Mhm.
but they always do a good job of changing it up enough
Yeah.
to make it fresh, and they always do a really good job of a Mexican theme or just Hispanic theme. So I was very happy with that house.
Yeah.
Next,
Museum. Something.
I thought you wrote the name of the houses. It's fine. I'll find it. Hold on.
Not always.
The Museum. Deadly Exhibits. This relic will leave you in ruins. A Folklore's Museum's newest exhibit, The Rotting Stone, has released an evil spirit that decays everything. And it's coming for you.
So
I gotta get into like voiceover work, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Did
So this one I was excited for. I was like, ooh, museum. I like museum stuff. I like old stuff. Let me see some Egyptians. And nope. So I didn't like it. And I was sad because I love the history, but I don't like where they went with it. That it was like some kind of like disease or something or whatever that these people got.
That the disease thing, that's me reading for the first time. Again, we didn't read what this was, so I didn't understand what was happening. I'm like, the way I took it is like, oh, museum, some of the monsters that or whatever the creatures are coming to life or whatever. I'm like, oh, what is happening here?
Yeah, so that's like what I thought too. Like I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool because you're gonna see some like monster mummy looking stuff.
That's what I assumed.
But it was like, no, I don't like that where they, that's my thing. I don't like where they went with it. It was just like they got some disease thing that was just like making them gross and weird. And I was just like, well, that was a letdown. I didn't like it.
Yeah, this is probably the worst one. I think this is the one we said
That's
is
why
the worst
I said
one.
straight up. Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because my notes are like probably the worst one so far.
Yeah.
But I will say it. I want to say it was also due to how backed up that line was. I don't know if you remember, but the guy that was like letting people in, like he let a crap ton of the express pass people because we got pretty up close, and then he like stopped the line and he's like, all right, now it's time to let the express pass people through, and this guy just kept them coming. Like the line even ended and he was like waiting for people to like catch up, and then like once he did is like, all right, go through, and then he like, I don't know, like there was just like a pile up.
Yeah.
So then as we're getting into the house, like we're really backed up, and a lot of the scares went to the group in front of us.
Yeah.
So we missed like a lot. I feel like we missed a lot of that house because of just how mismanaged that line was in the beginning, and just how there would be like points where you're supposed to be moving at a constant pace through the house, and there was many times where we were just stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and because of that, it was just annoying. And I don't know, like you said, with like whatever direction they took it, like I kind of forgot that it was even a museum at points. There was a standout scare though, where that guy, he was like in a full body suit that matched the wall, and that scared me because I was like looking. It
it was like an area like I don't know, there was a whole bunch of like tapestries and carpets and stuff, and they actually did like a neat thing with the smell there to make it smell like old musty whatever. And then like you pull back the curtains and there's a person that is wearing a suit to match the wall, like the pattern on the wall. So he was like this, and all of a sudden he like jumps out. So it was that one actually kind of got me, and I remember like looking at you like that was clever. Like I don't know, that's unique.
Yeah.
You know, we go through a lot of these, and that's the first one of those I've seen. So I appreciated that, but yeah, that house was not good. So, anyways, next,
Slaughter Cinema.
Slaughter Cinema 2, actually.
Oops, I forgot the 2.
Get ready for the final cut. It's time for another horror movie marathon at the Cary Drive-In. Scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, and more. So this is a returning house. They've done Slaughterhouse Cinema before. I don't know if it was last year or the year prior, but it was fairly recent. And pretty much what it is, it's just like, because this one we had the expectation of what the other one was before. So to me, it was like, okay, so they have these cheesy movies that I don't know if they're actual real or they just made them up for this house. But they're bad on purpose, like cheesy horror movies. And the cool thing is, while you wait in line, you get to see the trailers for some of them. Yeah. And again, awful. You know, looks like 70s, 80s terrible acting movies with cheesy stuff. So it's pretty much you see like a poster for the movie in a hallway, and then you enter, and then now you're in a part of the movie, and then you just keep jumping around between different movies. Yeah. So it's like almost like a VHS, like a whole a little anthology, just a whole bunch of movies you're walking through, and you just get little bursts of a house. What did you think?
I put yes. I liked that one. There was a bunch of good jumps for me, and the last one made me squeeze you. Yeah. And there was a shark.
Big old shark.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, just to kind of reiterate, it's cool to me that it was very just quick rooms with different themes, all of them very, very different. Like I said, I really like that they gave you the preview of like the movie poster before you go into that room, so you kind of know what to expect. Yeah. So that was cool. And again, just to reiterate, I don't know if you've picked up on the theme here, audience. A lot of big animatronics this year. Yeah. Which I really appreciate, because, you know, you can only have so many characters be there. You know, eventually you get the pattern. So when you throw animatronic into the mix, it's cool. So yeah, I forgot what the movie poster was, but it was, I don't know, zombie sharks or something sharks. Yeah. And then, yeah, they had a big old shark thing kind of jump out at you. And it was like I said, bigger than me. Like, it was huge. So it was kind of cool. The one disappointment though, zombie strippers or mummy strippers. Yeah. I was like, all right, here we go. Time to see some booty. And it was male. Yeah. Mummy stripper or lady boy. I don't know. It was not a woman. So I was like, dang it. Nah, it was fine. No, I really like that house. That was a fun one. But I will say that one was one of the longer waits we had that night. We get there and it was like, 45-minute wait. And we're like, nah. And then we looked, it's like, moved up to 60. So I feel like that, I felt that hour.
Yeah, like we were in the middle of that time change.
We were doing pretty good up until this. Yeah. I think the most we waited prior to that was maybe 25 minutes.
Yeah, that's like another thing to add too. Like the wait times were definitely like doable. Yeah. And we kept putting off the big ones.
The big ones, Quiet Place.
Yeah, when they were like I think they got up to like 60 or 75.
They got to 75 at some points. But they stayed a steady 60 the entire time.
Yeah, and we're like, no, they're gonna drop down. They're gonna drop down. And eventually, like it was doable.
But so again, it was nice. Even at 75 minutes, compared to a weekend, you're seeing easily 160 minutes, easily 180 minutes for these houses. So that's why, if you're poor like us,
Wednesday is the day to go, or at least the middle of the week.
Are we poor or are we smart?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's go with that. So, anyways, so even though it was a long wait, sometimes houses seem disappointing with them because of the waits, but no, it was still a good house even after that. So, moving on.
Quiet Place.
Ooh, The Quiet Place. The main reason I'm coming to these all the time, but this was the standout one. Love Quiet Place. Love Quiet Place 2. Quiet Place Day 1 that just came out in theaters. Very, very good as well.
Yes.
So, A Quiet Place. You know what? I should read it quietly.
Yeah, but loud enough.
Silence is survival. Make a sound and you won't last long. Monstrous creatures will hunt you down as the world of the first 2 films comes to terrifying life. I hope that's not too annoying for the audio.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's good to know. I mean, I figured it out after going through the house. Because when it said The Quiet Place, I'm like, well, there's 3 movies.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like a mix of all 3? I didn't realize I
didn't
didn't know it was going to be the first 2. But after I was done with it, I'm like, okay, so it was just the first 2 movies.
Yeah, I mean, walking in there, we saw before we got in the house or whatever.
Yeah, the Abbott farm.
Yeah, we saw the little shuttle, the kid's toy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was making the same noise and everything.
Yeah. So I said yes with 3 S's.
Okay.
I really liked it. It started out pitch black. Pitch black. I was already scared.
No, see, that's the thing. When you first walk in, you see the outside of their farm, or no, it was the outside of a store or something. I think it's because the movie opened up with them picking stuff from the store and whatever. But then you enter in and there's a solid maybe 20 feet of walking where it's just pitch black.
Was that before or after we had to walk the bridge?
I don't remember, but early on into the house, it was you enter behind these curtains and you cannot see anything and you have to keep moving forward. I could barely see the girl in front of me.
Yeah.
And probably the most uncomfortable and legit scared I was in the entire night.
Yeah.
And it was as simple as just taking away my sight.
Yeah.
And not only you just couldn't see, but just you hear the floorboards. It's so quiet, and then you hear the creature clicking, whatever. So then finally, you get out, and you can continue. But I wanted to elaborate on that because that was it. I don't know what they were trying to emulate. I'm sure there was a part of the movie I'm just not remembering or whatever. But even if it wasn't, legit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Mm-hmm. And to go along with that, I had in me this mad, but not mad obviously, but mad that people around me the people around me were being loud because I was being quiet and this monster, it was inevitable. I was gonna be eaten because everybody else couldn't be quiet. And I said that was the tightest and closest I held on to you. Yeah. And it was scary and it was well done. And I like that they had her the nail that she stepped on too. Yeah. That was a cool detail. That was there was a whole food snack thing that was based on that, wasn't there? Yeah. But I don't know. I really liked that house. Yeah.
With the bloody nail.
Yeah, but I really like that house.
Yeah, I want to say I haven't really thought about which one's my favorite, but right now it is.
I think for scariness, that was my most favorite scary one.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, it was it's just that the sound was used real well because when you're thinking of A Quiet Place and you think of what Horror Nights is a lot of loud sounds, a lot of banging, a lot of this. So it's clearly they're gonna have that, but I don't know. I was just kind of confused how they were gonna do A Quiet Place into this, and like how unique it was gonna be. And it was like there was like the scene. Well, I don't want to spoil. It'll be spoiling the movie, but there was a character who suddenly, like, he comes up, and I'm like while we're going through the house, he comes up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that really wasn't timed well with any kind of music. Like, it wasn't scary. He's just there, but then he starts yelling, and that kind of was like, because it's like all of a sudden he starts screaming, and immediately after he starts screaming, you hear behind you like the creature like. And like start like, you know, so it was very smart. Like, it wasn't just like the creature popping up, and they did a really good job with the like the puppeteering of all the creatures and stuff, like, because they almost always showed it with like they're like a weird like shell around their head, and it like breaks open apart when they're like when the sound, because they're so sensitive to sound. So you saw a lot of that, and it's obviously horrifying with all its teeth. And yeah, it was just a lot of the creatures and a lot of like people like yelling to lead to the creatures getting upset. Like, I don't know, it was really well done. Really, really enjoyed that house.
Yeah, and just like I said, like, I'm gonna die because of other people.
Yep. Yeah,
like, I was like, I can do this quietly. Come on, people.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just a house.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Next.
Ghostbusters. Frozen. Empire.
Oh, I missed that on my notes. I knew I missed one.
Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Man.
I forgot. Because towards the end, we were kind of wrapping up the night, and we're like, all right. So,
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay. Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. This is, of course, the new movie that came out, I believe, this year.
Yeah.
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 He'll chill you to the bone. An ancient artifact has released a chilling new entity. Garaka. He'll stop you cold. Only the Ghostbusters can keep you from getting iced. So a very icy themed movie if you have not seen any of the trailers. But it's Ghostbusters. So to be going in, Ghostbusters ain't really scary. There's some good scares here in the movie every now and then, but it's more of a fun family romp.
Yeah.
So your thoughts?
So I put not scary, but good.
Okay.
I really, really liked it. It was a fun one. I loved the snow, and like at one point, like it was snowing on us, and that was cool. I liked when right before we actually walked into the house, outside of the house, stuff was like shaking. Like there was like a trash can that was shaking, and like I think it was a hot dog machine thing or something that was actually shaking.
Oh yeah, with like a ghost in it or whatever.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool that, like you said, like the animatronics and stuff this year, they had a lot of like moving things like that. So that was cool. I liked that, and it was fun. It was a good one, and it was fun, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, to add to the animatronics thing, they had a whole bunch of like the little Stay Puft Marshmallows.
Oh yeah, that was cute.
They gave them subtle movements, but enough to like give them something, you know, because obviously they're like wacky little things that are just causing chaos. And here and there, like, yeah, there'd be some still ones, but every now and then they'd give some moving something or something to kind of add a little bit more life. Tell me why the first big scare was podcast.
I know. And he's like, sorry, lady. It's whatever part of the job or something like that. I forget what he said, but I was like, kid.
I forgot you were in this movie. But anyways, a podcast is the name of a character in the film, if you haven't seen it.
A kid.
A kid, yeah. But yeah, no, it was cool. You know, the stoat work was good because obviously the main creature in this is this tall, gangly, evil-looking thing. But they did a good job recreating the movie. That's why I like Universal. They do such a good job of bringing the movies to life in front of you in a way that makes sense for you to walk through it. And I mean, that opening shot, like in the movie when it was like the old school. It wasn't a firehouse yet, or maybe it was, but all the fancy people are all frozen and like the record, like that was freaking perfect.
Yeah.
And just the rest of it was all fine, which is well done. Not scary, but still enjoyable. It was solid. And like you said, I like that it was cold and like the snow. Got to see Phoebe for a second and all that. So good, solid house.
Yep.
Next.
Candy something.
Candy something. You mean Major Sweets Candy Factory?
Yeah.
They've got a killer sweet tooth. You're chaperoning a field trip to a candy factory when the free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers. See, right there, reading that, I was like, oh, is that what they were doing?
Yeah. I'm like, okay, so that's where they were going with that. Because, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Are you done with the description?
Yeah, that's all they had, and I did not get that from what I went and experienced myself. But,
yeah. So for my notes, I put candy caca. Like that was the worst house to me.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going on in that one. Like you said, it's a field trip and the kids are going crazy. There was a lot of psychos in there, but I just thought it was like,
they look like adults to me.
yeah, they were like adults, and I thought that they were just like workers or something that were just psychos, and I just could not understand what was happening. Like I put, there was a lot going on, and it was just more loudness and chaos than scary.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of like banging and like high pitched noises that, like, I don't want to be that person to be like, oh, my ears. But, like, my ears were, like, actually annoyed a few times. Like, there was some weird sounds. But that's me, like, you know, putting utensils away makes my ears squeeze. But, or, like, whatever. But, yeah, I just thought it was more loud. And it was, like, there's a good way to make scares with, like, slamming things and, like, whenever they had those like drop down windows or whatever, and they're like slamming it shut, there's like a good way to use that to like scare it, like make it scary. But this house didn't do it. We're doing it just to like make noise. Yeah.
Thankfully, this was the shortest wait of any of the houses. They said it said 15 minutes, but we literally just walked in.
Yeah.
Like it took longer to get up to it than the house itself, like whatever. So very happy that this house we did not have to wait for, because I guess now thinking about it, it probably was technically the worst house. Well, here's the deal. I still say the museum one's worse just because I hate being stopped in a house, and we got stopped so much. This one we just went through it. But anyways, how are you gonna have a candy themed a haunted house and not have any like candy? Like I thought it was gonna be candy monsters or something, like something fun, like, oh, here's this person fell into a vat of lollipops and now he's like or something,
a lollipop monster. It looked like at one point one of the girls, I guess, had like puke on her head or something.
She had like chocolate or something. Maybe it was chocolate. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't well done. Like I was expecting creativity with like candy creatures or candy being used somehow as a weapon. Like, oh, this guy got choked on Laffy Taffy, you know, something. But no, it was weak. Like I just, it was kind of dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Miss for sure.
Yeah.
And the last house, Tara.
Oh, Insidious.
Insidious. I believe that one was called. Let me pull it up just to make sure. Okay. Insidious the Further. It's not the house that's haunted. You are. Enter the Further as demons try to ensnare you. The red-faced demon will lure you into his lair. Keyface will unlock your fears and more.
So Darth Maul? Is that what his name is?
Yeah, you kept calling him Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
I laughed at first, but in the end, I'm like, you know what? I kind of see it.
Yeah, see? Especially all the merch and stuff. So I put Insidious best for last because it was the last one that we finally got to. And I said it wasn't too scary, but it was well done. I really liked how it was done. Like we were going through the red door and it was really big.
Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah, I felt like it was actually a long house. Like there was a few times where I thought it was over and it wasn't, so that was cool. We got barfed on.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy, and we felt some wetness from that.
This is part of the house, not really barfed on.
Yeah. And But I feel like, again, that one was another one that we were too close to people. Because, like, the people in front of us, I felt like they kind of got more
Most of the
stuff.
scares, yeah.
And then the guy behind me, I just never had someone else follow behind so close. And, like, I could tell that he was scared just because, like, when I would glance back, he was just, like, his hands were, like, straight by his side. And he was just kind of, like, looking away. But he was just so close to me that I was like, dude, like, he ran into me a couple of times. And I'm like, ugh. So then it was like he was trying to, like, run away from the monsters, but they were scaring more him because, like, they would go for the people in front of us and then the people behind us, and then I just get this guy, like, too close to me in my bubble.
Yeah.
So that was kind of annoying. So I wish we didn't have to deal with that.
Right.
But otherwise, like, I feel like it was well done and I liked it.
Yeah, I think one of the things I told you, because we didn't really talk too much about our feelings because we were kind of saving it for this, but one of the brief things I mentioned as we were leaving that house is like, man, I bet you I really would have liked that if I remembered the movies better. Because I really don't. Like, I think when it comes to Insidious, I like them, but I always, and this is a stupid thing for me to do, but I always compare them to Conjuring, and I'm like, oh, Conjuring, I like Conjuring better.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoy Insidious. They're
Yeah.
really good movies, but I've only seen each of them once.
Mm-hmm.
Conjuring, I've seen a few times, each of them, or at least some of them. But I don't know, something with Insidious, like I've only seen them like the one time, and I feel bad because like some of the things I definitely remembered, like there was the that weird witch thing. I don't know. I saw her. I'm like, wow, she looks just like what I remember in the movie. And then they had like that Tiny Tim song, and I was like, oh, I know what's coming. That Darth Maul's coming.
Yeah.
The Red Demon. Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was cool for like the few things that I remembered. Well done. But there was like an old man with like an oxygen mask. I'm like, I vaguely remember you, but I don't enough to let this hit as much. And I'm sure there was a lot more. I can tell that the house was busy, and I can tell it was well done, but it wasn't resonating with me because I just don't remember.
Yeah.
And I feel bad. I'm like, man, I really should have at least rewatched one or two of these before going. Because usually we do that, we rewatch something. But most of the stuff this year was fairly fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Quiet Place, I know well enough that I didn't need to rewatch it. And Ghostbusters just came out.
Yeah, we just.
And Insidious, it wasn't themed based on a movie. It was just Insidious. I'm like, well, I know Insidious, so. But I really liked it. But I don't think you said best for last. I don't say it. I wouldn't say.
No,
that.
I did best for last with a question mark. Like, is this gonna be the best one?
Yeah, but then
I don't
you said
think it was the best one. No, I said that it wasn't too scary, but it was well done.
Gotcha.
But I don't think it was the best one, even though it was last.
Gotcha.
It was like, that was my question. Is this one going to be the best because it's the last? Did we save the best for last? But no. We didn't purposely do that. We were just purposely waiting for the time to go down.
Yeah. So the event opened up at 5:30, even though it said 6:30.
No, it was 6.
No, it was 6. Yes, right. My bad. It opened up at 6, even though it said 6:30. Which we kind of figured that out earlier, or years ago, that they always lie about the opening times.
Yeah.
So we got in at 6, and the event this year, all nights were open until 2. We ended after doing all the houses and walking around, and only brief moments of sitting down, besides bathrooms, like sitting down to eat and our snacks. We ended at like 1:25 or so. We didn't get to do a single ride. We could have if we would have planned it better, but we really only usually do like the Mummy.
Yeah.
But this year, by the time we decided to go on the Mummy, because we were worried about not hitting all these houses, but by the time we decided to do Mummy, it never really went below 25 minutes. And we're like, okay, well, we don't want to accidentally miss the time. So by the time we were done with Insidious, we're like, it's late.
Yeah.
Let's just get going because we had to get back home. So we didn't get to do any rides, but we got to do all 10 houses. We got to experience all the scare zones. We got to eat some of the unique foods. Our beautiful, gorgeous butterbeer. And
Yeah. So
It was a successful night.
successful night.
We got to do all the houses. I think we would have been better with our time management if we would have realized that there were 10 houses, because we thought that there were 8 houses for the longest time, and then we're like, wait, what? How many houses are left? So
and then
we
I was
were
like,
kind
oh,
of
I was like, oh no, it's 9. And then I'm like, wait, 10.
yeah. So it was like, if we would have known for sure that there were 10 early on, then we probably wouldn't have been so lax on our like sitting around time and downtime.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
And one thing to note, I don't think we've ever done a single show. And if we did, it was so long ago. But they have like concert or like presentations and shows, and we just never do it because it takes away from the houses. That's the way we feel. So our priority is doing the house. So we don't have anything to say on the shows, unfortunately. And this year I didn't really notice any like, so they sometimes have like little mini street performances here and there. And I didn't notice much, like anything of substantial note. Like here, small little dances here and there, I guess, but like nothing crazy.
we didn't even see Megan dance.
Yeah. I saw a little bit, but it wasn't the full dance.
No.
Online though.
If you go online, you'll find the people who dance.
Apparently, all you got to do
and-
is just tell her, "Hey, can we do the dance?" And then she does it.
Yeah, but I want to be like, can you do the dance? Because I don't know the dance. I'm not gonna end up on somebody's Snapchat. But
Yeah. All right then. So, all of that said, overall thoughts on this year's Horror Nights, and I guess we didn't really discuss this, but did you want to give it like a score or just overall thoughts? I don't think we've done scores in the
no,
past,
we've never
right?
done scores.
Like,
Like, what would
just
our score
overall
be
thought.
out of?
I had like 10.
Oh, that's too many. If we do it out of 5, I would say it was like a 2.5.
At 5, that leaves so much room to. Nah, I don't like.
Nah,
fives.
it's not a score.
Yeah.
It was a good year. Like, it was. I guess it was a fine year. Between fine and good.
Mhm.
Like, I love going, so it's like always a fun time to just go.
Yeah.
The houses weren't overly scary for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though I did like rate them based on how hard I squeezed your sides,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, I didn't walk through the houses with my eyes closed.
Right.
And I mean, besides, I think, which one was it? Maybe the Eternal Bloodlines. I kind of squinted a little bit, but I didn't close my eyes still. Like, if I can make it through a whole night, all the houses, my eyes open, then it wasn't a scary night, and it wasn't like top tier scariness for me that year.
Mhm.
So this year wasn't like that.
Gotcha.
Like, I could go through all the houses pretty comfortably. And I know I chickened out and I didn't want to lead
Yep.
after I said I would.
Yep.
But then after a couple of them, I like walked out and I'm like, I could have let that one. But, you know, you just never know.
Right.
I got to be safe. So,
Okay.
but it was still fun. It was a good year. Fun.
Yeah. So for me, because you kind of brought up like, oh, if I can get through all the houses, without being too scared, it means it wasn't too scary. I don't go in with the expectation of getting scared anymore. I am impressed when it happens because it's like, wow, that they actually got me. And I'm not like a macho or anything. I just really I'm used to it. I like me and Elmo have talked in the past, like you eventually learn the patterns of how they do like scares and like, all right, I see the break in the wall here, or I see this here, so I know it's coming.
But it still gets me.
I know. And it still, you know, kind of gets me, but it doesn't like scare me, you know? And the main reason I go is not for scare. I just love seeing the production that these guys are putting in. Like, these guys put in money, and these haunted houses are just great. I love it. So I will never fault it for not scaring me, because they just really don't anymore.
I wish that was my ring. It's like I psych myself like I'm like, this is scary, and then I try to like look ahead and I try to be like, okay, there's the monster, whatever, that's cool, look at the detail, but then it's like blah, like, and it gets me. And sorry.
I'm gonna have to Just that.
Sorry, but like, I don't know, like I just get so like psyched about being scared. Like it's just I can't not be scared sometimes. And that's part of the fun of it for me. So I'm always gonna go by a scare and like how I feel and stuff about it. Like, is it making me really scared in my like chest, like when I walk out I'm like, oh, my chest hurts, took the breath out of me, or if it's like, meh, I got that, whatever. But
so anyways, I was trying to tell you my thoughts, but I will say the way I grade Horror Nights is overall theme, how well everything kind of matches, like you said, like the overall feeling, like with the, like you said, with the music kind of being lackluster this year, that kind of took away from it. The food, although it was, I guess the food was themed, but it just, I was just so impressed with what they did last year with it.
yeah,
That it was a downgrade for sure. But and then I grade it based on the IPs that they get, like the gets. And this year, like they just didn't, I don't know, like Quiet Place really was the only one for me.
yeah,
And I'm thrilled they got it because that was unique and it ended up being my favorite house. But sometimes just because the IP is good doesn't mean the house is good. Like we said for our last review for last year, like the most excited one by a freaking mile was Last of Us.
mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that house.
Yeah.
Not enough. I liked it, but it was not my favorite house.
Yeah, there was just like things that you're like, I wish they would have done this.
Yeah. So, but no, this year they got it. So to me, it was a solid Horror Nights. There's been worse ones, but there's been way better ones. So to me, it was fine. It was fine on a Horror Nights scale, but even a bad Horror Nights is a great time for me.
Yeah.
I love going to these events. I just always have a great time, and it's the one time a year that you can, it's an excuse to go back to Universal, because we used to have like the annual passes. We used to go all the time, and I miss it.
Yeah.
So when we get there, it's like, we're home. So always excited to go to Horror Nights. It was a solid year. I still recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Quiet Place, a fan of Insidious. I'm sure you'll have a good time, especially if you're a big fan of Ghostbusters. Like, it's all there. But yeah, there's been better years for sure.
Yeah.
So overall, a great solid time. If you like these events, always recommending that you go. This is the premier one for Florida. They have others out there. They just don't hit the same. So I hear. I don't know. I've only done this one.
I've done Howl-O-Scream.
Yeah.
But that was a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah, maybe one year we'll do it. Whatever.
So if you do go, get the death balls. What are they called?
The lava rocks from hell or whatever.
Yeah, get some lava rocks from hell for me, because I wish I got more.
And some twisted taters.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you so much for listening, everybody. If you guys have went to Horror Nights this year, let me know what your review was. And if you didn't go, why?
Yeah.
Tell us why.
You should go and then
engage
and
in
then
the comments. We need discussions. Hence the name Educated Discussions. Thank you so much for listening. And I hope you have a spooky Halloween season.
Whoa.
I don't know. Black Cat.